There we go. We now have sound. All right. I guess I get to say that all over again. Welcome to the market close. Holy banana bread. I can't believe I did another we all in this community we call that a high rise start. I did a high rise start without the sound, but you guys caught me really, really fast. Thank you, Paul. As soon as I saw that no sound, I was like, uh-oh. So anyway, welcome to the market close for well, Wednesday. What is it? March 27th. Though it's hard to believe that April is almost here. Now, with April almost being here, I have dropped a membership, a free membership there right at the top of the show. That one went to Sandra B. Can't think of a better person to win. Well, there's probably better people. Now there's nobody better than Sandra's awesome. Sandra is absolutely awesome. I'm going to dig myself into a hole with Sandra if I don't shut my mouth up. So, um, the reason I did that is we do have our free memberships coming up soon. We do this on the first Sunday of every single month. That's going to be on April 7th. So this following Sunday, believe it or not, is still March 31st. So we do have one more Sunday in this month. If you look underneath that green box, it says gifted one Mountain Finance membership, and you see another box, a gray box, sort of mentioning that you don't have gifting turned on. You want to click the link there, follow it, turn it on. That way, everybody can gift you memberships, or I can gift you memberships. It's a fantastic thing to do. Anyway, holy cow. Right off the top, I want to address that last video. Holy banana bread. I bought this new, well, basically, we'll roll back a bit. I had a couple of comments maybe a couple of weeks ago saying that my mic was a little bit echoey. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see if I can fix that. And I couldn't. I tried. So I was at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to buy a new system. So I spent like $1,100 on this new mic system, and oh my God, it was terrible. What it was doing is it was basically sending everything into one channel and then creating this weird buzz and distorting everything in the second channel. So I'm like, okay. So I know what the issue is with the first mic. It's a tiny, tiny echo, and it's probably due to the to my actual studio. So sound bouncing off that wall in behind me. So we're gonna do something about that. I've actually ordered some sound paneling, which is arriving later today. So on the weekend, I'll be putting up they're going to be a whole bunch of octagons going up on the wall to sort of break apart the sound. It does mean that the background is going to change a little bit. The shelf is staying where it's at, but you're going to see those lights are going to have to come down, and there's going to be octagons over there or something like that. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I really, really couldn't believe it. Because here's the funny thing. When I listened to it in Final Cut Pro, it wasn't giving me any of that distortion. None of it. It sounded perfect. And then I even went back and resaved it to see if that would fix it. After I found out. Now, this is what I'm going to throw this out to you guys, channel members. If I ever drop a video that has like horrible sound or something really bad going on in it, where you guys get to see the videos early, let me know. I'll pull it and see if I can fix it. So just a little thing. So yeah, that last video, absolutely. It's one of these things where I've been fighting back and forth. Should I just pull the thing? Because it's just dreadful. Anyway, we'll leave that at that for now. Those of you who were here on Sunday, you got to see the craziness that happened. So as you guys know, I have my little running thing here with my Starbucks cup. So I talk about the Starbucks cup and I say, hey, Starbucks, it's time for you to start sponsoring me. Then I take a drink like this. Very good. Love it. That was awesome coffee. So that's what I've been doing all the time. And that's kind of been a little bit of a running gag. Well, on Sunday, every time I did that, somebody named Starbucks dropped a $4 super sticker on the chat. It was like, holy banana bread. What the heck is going on? Nobody knows. there's either one of two things. One of you guys was like super, super nice, created this fake Starbucks account and came in and did it. But that to me sounds kind of odd. Like, seriously? It might have just been like a Starbucks ad bot that happened to hit that stream. And it was funny. In a way, if that was their ad bot, basically they dropped, I think, about $36 on me. So basically for $36, they had the chat talking about Starbucks most of the stream. So that was absolutely funny. So we'll have to see. I don't know if they'll ever come back again. That might have been like this one up, but I'll tell you, it was certainly fantastic. All right. Boop-a-da-boo. Let's see. Paul says, yeah, in the beginning, it's really important to watch the chat. Oh, yes. My eyes like glued to the chat at the beginning, because if there's an issue, I'm gonna find out. You guys are gonna yell it pretty darn fast. Kevin and Kaz in the house saying afternoon, everyone. Yeah, and that's that horrible, horrible sound. G Mark says, hey all, CO Tootie? I probably, or Chowie Tootie? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just gonna leave that be. Ricardo is in the house saying, good afternoon. What are your thoughts on the XOM chart? Do you believe there is still more upside? There's always more upside, but I have to think, I'm uncertain if it's going to go much higher, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let's see here. Sammer says, hello, guys. And where is Mr. or Mrs. Starbucks? Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll have to get a Mr. Starbucks, you know, or we could get a Mrs. Starbucks and she can start dating Mr. Math. We'll just have to do that a little bit here. Okay, so CO equals ciao, so the Italian hello. Yeah, I knew that. I was sure that that's what it meant. Wasn't sure on exactly how to pronounce it. So that was kind of that thing. And Vic says, I sold a lot today. Ooh, wow. Well, let's find out what you sold as we move a little further. All right. It is time to take a quick look at the market here, because we haven't done that yet. We want to do that before the bell and after the bell, of course. All right, let's bring it on up. The big chart in the background, the candles, that's Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin a little bit later. But on the day, we have the TSX having a green day. Not a bad day at all. Up 0.79%. We got the S&P 500. It's in the green as well. Up 0.78%. Not bad. The NASDAQ is finally back in the green. It's funny. When I was setting this up about 10 minutes ago, they were in the red. So the NASDAQ has pulled themselves back up. We've got gold and silver, both in the red, oil's in the red. Bitcoin's down, though. Bitcoin is down today. It's down 1.90% so far. So holy banana bread. We could have a rough day. We could have a rough end of week for Bitcoin. There is, I believe it's $9.3 billion worth of options that are expiring tomorrow. So that could be very, very interesting for Bitcoin. So we'll have to see how that looks. Well, actually, it's not expiring tomorrow. It's actually expiring Friday. So Friday. I keep thinking tomorrow is Friday because of the long weekend coming up. So all of that fun stuff. All right, let's pull up the heat map here. All right. This is our let me just give me a second here. I do not need all of this other crap here on the heat map. There we go. And I'm just going to bring that in. All right, there. It looks a lot healthier now. So we got the banks look to be doing pretty good. Look, TD's up 1.38%. Shopify's down a little bit. The railroads both looking good. So yeah, not that bad. Not that bad at all. So we got a little bit of stuff going on. Let's see here. And down here we got Brookfield, and I think this is let's take a look here and see if I can see where. Oh, that's Brookfield Renewable Partners. All right. You know what? We'll look at this here in a moment. I want to look at BAM because I want to talk a little bit about BAM. Let's go to the US. All right. In the US, once again, let's pull that away. The US, not too bad, not too bad. Apple's up pretty good. Um, the rest of tech is down slightly. We'll notice here with let me just see here. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. We were sort of not lined correctly on the page. Yeah, the rest of tech is down a little bit. Oh, look at Netflix. They're down 2.52%. Oracle's down. Amazon's doing good though. Tesla's up. If those of you who've been waiting for Tesla to rebound, they've come up a little bit. All right, over to crypto. Yeah, we got ourselves a pretty red day in the world of crypto. Look at Solana. Solana's down 4.22%. Cardano's down, Avalanche is down, Shiba Inu is down. It's pretty much down right across the board there. Holy banana bread! All right, let's get back to chat here, and we're gonna pull this up here and see what's going on. What time is it? 3:56. We got 4 minutes before the bell. And Vic says, I'm building cash pile and will park in cash ETF till fall. Small buys here and there. No, nothing wrong with that. G Marks. Crud, I just bought some BAM the other day. I suck at picking stocks. I should stick to the index. We're going to talk about BAM after the bell. Don't worry if you bought BAM. I got some good news about BAM. I'll give you the story, and then I'll give you the good news about the story. There is good news in there. Vic says Dow is up 300 points. Whoops. Charlie S says BIPC and BEPC up big today. Yeah, you got to love it when you see some of these things coming up. Let's see. Vic says, I'm going full on to indexes in the fall. I use Wealthsimple or WTS to scratch the speculative stock itch. Okay. Well, the nice thing with indexes is that it's hard to lose on indexes as long as you're picking good, balanced, well-managed ones. They do tend to perform pretty good. And especially if you're the type that likes to get in there and handle your stocks too much, sometimes an index can be a good way to go. Paul says, let's see, LOL, the chat video in the left bottom covers the info. Oh, isn't that always the way? Okay. I need to find a way to be able to move that somehow. I don't know. Let's see. Vic says liquidated 100K. Not kidding around. 100K. Holy cow. That is a lot of liquidation, Vic. Let's see. G Marks is saying, I hear that as soon as some positions go green, I'm going to close out and go pure index. Keep it simple. There we go. Keeping it simple sometimes does work. Vic says individual stock picking is okay, but over time we need the winners, which are all caught in the net of the index. I may go all cash by 2050 if I don't kick the bucket. Okay, well, hopefully you survive past 2050. And the fact that you've changed your life quite a bit, you probably are going to live longer than you expect. So, exactly, like as a non-smoker, I might live to 2050. Good God. Yeah, maybe more, maybe even more. And Gmark says, yeah, I spend too much time trying to pick the perfect portfolio. Probably easier to just leave it in XEQT or something. That is and this is one of the things I say about investing. And I kind of said it on that video. That's the one that had the terrible sound. If you don't have the discipline to, do everything that you need to do. So let's say, for example, it's like, I really don't want to do due diligence. I don't like math. I want somebody else to balance this thing for me. Well, in cases like that, ETFs are the way to go. Or if you really want hands off, there's always like a robo advisor, that type of thing as well. So it's going to be interesting. Eventually, too, with AI really starting to peak, we could get to a point where we all have our own little robo advisor living in our house. Or in our computer or something like that. So it could be very interesting where this is all going to go in the future. Vic says, has anyone looked at BMO ETF roadmap? I have not looked at their ETF roadmap. I should put that on my list of things to do. That does sound like it would be interesting. Enid is in the house. Hello, Enid. Good to see you. Vic says, Google BMO ETF roadmap, insane number of... bell time. There we go. And the market is closed. Of course, those of you who received that email from Wealthsimple about extended hour trading, You got more time to trade, but keep in mind, not every stock is available for or after hours. It's mostly just the US stocks that you can trade in the after hours. So, who knows? Maybe that'll become a thing in Canada someday, but I don't think so. G Mark says, "What? We're supposed to do due diligence?" Well, I look at it this way: if you were going to go spend a big chunk of money on a new piece of equipment or a new car or something like that, you're going to do a little bit of research before you do it. It's the same thing with stocks. You want to do your research. You want to know what you're getting into. It's just one of those things that you should do. Also, the good thing about doing the research is when you do the research and you're convinced that it's a good stock, and then something does go south, then you know to blame yourself. You're like, okay, yeah, I did the research. Everything did look good. There, it's not like I was being, steered wrong somewhere along the line. So, always, 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 always do your research. And even if it's a situation like I talk about a lot of stocks, even though I may talk about a stock that is absolutely fantastic, no matter how good it is, and even if I've done all the due diligence for you, still do it yourself. Just go and get comfortable with the numbers. Because I talk about a limited number of stocks, and there's a lot of stocks that you guys are into that I've never done deep dives on yet. At least until you guys vote them in, and then I end up doing a deep dive. Sometimes I will admit, sometimes you guys will send me something for a deep dive, and when I do the deep dive, I'm like, "Ooh, this is a stock I wish I had known years ago." So it does happen. Let's see. Whoops. 9 says, yeah, I don't have time to research, so I mostly index. Yeah, and that's a perfect thing. Y Video says, hi, Candace and everyone. What are your favorite REITs these days, or you do prefer real estate ETFs? A real estate ETF is probably a really good idea. I haven't really used one yet, but I do think it's a good idea. Like what I'm seeing with rate cuts, when we get the rate cuts, that's going to be good on the REIT industry. Now, the ones that will struggle a little bit more are ones that have a lot more office exposure. So there's still a little bit of pain left in that area. But REITs, for example, like RioCan, I think are going to do good. Timber Creek Financial. I don't know why I want to call them Timberlake, but Timber Creek Financial is another real estate type. They look after residential houses. I think they're going to do well. They act a lot like a REIT. So there's just a few. Those are two that I've at least put some eggs in the basket, or put them in the basket with some of the other stuff. But yeah, I'm liking both of those so far. Bleak says, hello all. Fixing XEQT is too much Canadian. 24% versus 3% in a world economy. Okay, that's fair enough. That is absolutely fair. Now, there are other all equity out there as well. I know Vanguard has one like VEQT. I don't know off the top of my head what their breakdown is, but sometimes you do get a little bit, of that. Let's see. Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. G-Mark says, true, but some country biased is okay. 30% or so was supposed to be the sweet spot. G-Mark says, I'm near break even on Enbridge after holding for a while. Started to get frustrated with it. Time to bounce. I'm still bullish on Enbridge long term. So it really comes down to, if it's a stock that has frustrated you for a long time, sometimes when it hits the green, it's easy to get out and move to something that is perhaps less frustrating. But yeah, it just sort of makes sense. All right. Vic says, let's see. I sold my MMM, RY, BMO, TD, NA. Many China, ADR, HBank, VDY, ENB, ADSK, DIS. It was a huge cash out. Need a few days to settle. Let's see. Next goal is to become a generational client with Wealth Simple. Oh, there we go. There we go. So yeah, Vic had a whole thing. All right. So bam, Brookfield Asset Management. Apparently, I heard in a comment, someone was telling me that Meet Kevin was going on about it. And I looked up to see what had happened, and so apparently in Los Angeles they have a building that they've sold. They've sold it for, well, if you look at the amount of debt still owed on the building, they sold it for about half, so at a loss. So when you hear something like that, you have to say, "Oh my God, what is going on with Brookfield Asset Management? This is horrible." This could be bad. Should I bail? Should I run for the hills? No, you shouldn't. Here's the thing about Brookfield Asset Management. So back in December, not this December, but the previous December, so 2022, I think that was, yeah, 2022, we had this whole thing where the old Brookfield Asset Management, so BAM.A, they had split into Brookfield Corporation, so BN, and then the new Brookfield Asset Management, BAM, without the .A. When they did this, they actually did a whole bunch of interesting things. So one of the things that Brookfield Corporation wanted to do is they wanted to streamline BAM into being its premium, all of its premium assets. So they took on all the debt. So Brookfield Asset Management has no debt. It's all owned by Brookfield Corporation, by BN. So when you look at this event under that lens, you begin to realize, oh, so basically, the debt that's lost in this situation is actually on the BN side. So BN holds that debt. Brookfield Asset Management doesn't. This is not hurting them at all. If anything, they're just moving some stuff off of their balance sheet that is not profitable. So this is just something to think about when it comes to BAM. So, this is not going to like tank BAM. Now, what could happen is people who are hearing about this and people who are hearing some of the fear mongering, because as much as, Meet Kevin has a lot of good information, Meet Kevin also is a little bit on the fear mongering side. So sometimes he likes to panic. And sometimes you'll see some of his titles and you'll think, oh my God, is the entire stock market about to implode? Well, that's not the case. And in this case here, it was a little bit more fear mongering. It may be that he did not know. And being an American influencer, finfluencer, whatever we want to call it, he may not have understood the whole idea of what was going on with Brookfield Asset Management and Brookfield Corporation. So that's what I think is happening. I think he didn't actually know what was going on. He didn't do enough due diligence before he, started talking about it. And mind you, it's not just him. I also saw in Bloomberg had an article on it. So I actually shared that over on the Discord so everybody could take a look at that. So yeah, it's a fun thing. But Brookfield Asset Management, BAM, I'm still bullish. I'm not going to sell. If anything, if people panic because they've seen stuff like that and they, create a little bit of sell pressure, awesome. That may be a good opportunity to get some more. So not too worried about it. All right, Vic, sold CVE at a 600% profit. Nice, good God. That's why do I keep saying good God today? It's like, what's going on? No, I meant good going. So it was a lucky March 2020 buy. Oh, yeah. Every investor, I think, just has a dream of that pandemic crash. If you had only had a big pile of money. Well, good on that one, Vic. That's amazing. So is PAM or the parent BN better to hold long term? I think return wise, BAM is better. I would hitch my horses to BAM opposed to BN. So I would say BAM. And Paul's in the house with a hello, everyone. Vic says, Telus is repeatedly kicking my portfolio in the groin like Jake or Patrick. Awesome. All right. And we got ourselves a super sticker from Y Videos. $3 super sticker. I got to learn how to talk today. That usually if I can't talk, it's time for some Starbucks. It's like after what they did on the weekend, I don't know if I can sort of say, Starbucks, sponsor me. It feels like they did, at least on that one stream. So we'll go with that. Anyway, once again, thank you once again, Y Videos. Vic says, Roadhouse ought to be in an Oscar or two, Best Movie and Best Actor. I think I saw that's a Patrick Swayze movie, isn't it, Roadhouse? I think so. G-Mark says, I got to watch that movie, Vic. Good call. There we go. It's free on Amazon on Prime. Well, yeah, unless you have the new version that you have to watch ads because, I don't know how they're doing it with movies. Anybody who has Amazon Prime, how are they doing it with movies? Are you just watching in the middle or are they actually interrupting in the middle of the movie or is it just on the ends or I'm not sure how that works. Pretty much I paid for the no ads pretty fast. Now let's see. Paul says extended hours is US, but not all US. So IBIT and BRR Bitcoin ETFs are extended hours, but ARCB is not extended hours. Okay, that's interesting. So for your spare USD change, IBIT is just under $40 and BRRR is just under $20. Okay, not bad, not bad. Y Video says, I bought some shares of Pure Storage. It's an interesting play in SSDs for data centers. Fast equals good for AI and less energy consumption. They also have a subscription model. Yeah, you're seeing that in a lot of things coming out. Like, I mean, look at Office. Like, like Microsoft before, you used to buy your Word, or if you were like a struggling student, you perhaps found it through other means. But now it's pretty much, you pay $100 a year or something like that, and you have the latest up-to-date version of Office. So it's kind of that subscription thing. I don't even know if you wanted to buy a brand new copy of Office, if you can just buy it outright anymore. It might just be fully subscription. Enid says, I like XAW for global exposure without Canada. Okay, fair enough. And G Marks is also pointing out VXC is a good choice too. Canada, okay. Yeah, I really need exposure to somebody who speaks a lot of Spanish, I think. Vic says, I just watched 30 seconds of ads at the beginning of a movie. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Well, the funny thing is, we were just watching something. It was actually on City TV, which is sort of within Prime. So we were getting sick of all the commercials. So we signed up for the ad free. Then it turned out that the ad free only works on the Amazon part because City TV is a separate entity within Prime. So you don't actually lose the commercials on that one. So there was no go. Had to watch the commercials, like a lot of them. So is Prime better than Netflix? I don't need both. It really depends on, I guess. Here's what I would recommend. If you really want to save money, create a schedule. Like, say for 1 month you have Netflix. So subscribe for a month, then watch as much Netflix as you can get in, then cancel your subscription, then move to Prime. Watch as much stuff on Prime as you can. Cancel your subscription, move to maybe Disney Plus. That's one way that you could sort of get all of them without having to pay all of them all the time. Because, sometimes if you have no active shows on that streaming thing that you're watching, it makes sense to not be paying that subscription fee. So that's what I normally say. Let's see. XAW is an awesome ETF, flies below the radar. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. I have both. I'm a big fella, 295 pounds, live in my mom's basement, drive around and just invest. Yep. At least you're not, if you were into real estate, you could drive up and down the street and sort of point at different buildings. Got it, need it. All that fun stuff. Let's see. Vic living that fire life. Love it. And Vic says, once I remain smoke-free, will drop some pounds, but hesitant to invest money on skinny clothes. Yeah, well, if it's where it's a thing in process, so where you're still going, if anything, look at some used stuff if you want some like in-between sizes, and then once you finally reach your goal and you're happy and everything stabilizes, then you could buy some better clothes. But there's nothing wrong with some cheap clothes in the meantime. 9 says there are simple ways to watch movies, shows for free online. There are absolutely. I mean, there are some streaming services too where you can watch it for free, but you have to watch ads with it as well. So just one of those things to keep in mind. Paul says TELUS has a package with Netflix, Premium and Prime and Disney Plus and something else. That could be another way to save. Like if you do watch a lot of television, and maybe if TELUS has a package, that's not a bad idea, depending on what the price is, of course. Vic says, I have a TELUS too, but now I hate it as a customer and an investor. That makes sense. G Mark says, I with Rogers, the worst cell phone company. Rogers is bad. Rogers is very, very bad. I briefly worked with Rogers in their call center at one point in my life. And it was funny. I used to have a manager. He'd come to me and says, "You need to start selling more." And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You really need to sell more." I said, "No, not going to do it." I don't know how I didn't get fired in the time I was there. I just refused. If I have like, little old Miss Tuppet from Kelowna calling in, and she's trying to save some money because she can't afford to eat anything. I'm gonna go out of my back. I'm gonna bend my back over backwards just to figure out how we can save her money. I'm not going to try to sign her up for stuff that she doesn't need. Some people will. A lot of people will, because there's a lot of pressure there basically to upsell. That's the whole thing. It's like, okay, well, here's what you do on a call. You take as many things as you can and throw them at the wall and see if something sticks. And they kind of look at it that way. They kind of rate you that way. And there's a lot of pressure to sell. And it's just one of these things where I just didn't care. And occasionally I got people, I used to give discounts like crazy. I'm like, I know I got somebody who lived not that far from my mom's house once. And I was like, oh, I said, this is your lucky day. I think I managed to knock about $100 off of her bill, and it was just one of those things. Like I said, I do not know how I didn't get fired at Rogers because I was the exact opposite of that horrible customer service that you get, and it was fine. Now, if you did call and you really did have a need, like for example, you wanted a new phone, well, okay, I will sell you the new phone. But I'm not going to like upsell you on this, that, and everything. I'm going to give you whatever meets your needs, not go outside of that. So anyway, Paul says Old Navy has flex jeans. All right. Are those like skinny jeans, but for bigger people? I'm not sure what the flex means in that. G Mark says that's true for most companies. I think through sell more. Yeah, it's crazy. The whole sell philosophy, and I know it's everywhere. And I've heard. I think the CBC or Marketplace just did an expose on the big six banks where they were sending people in. And some of the crazy tactics even the employees are using there, they're all under pressure. It's like, you got to upsell, you got to upsell. To me, that's not good customer service. For me, good customer service is you come into my establishment and I will, first of all, I'll give you all the information you need to make decisions, and I will present to you decisions that are right for you. I'm not going to, if you're a little old lady, once again, I keep using little old ladies, but let's say you're just some, little old lady. You little old lady, you come in and you just want a simple camera because you want to take pictures of the ducks down by the lake when you're feeding them. I'm not going to be looking at this big, a big DSLR, and I'm not going to be trying to, have it so that you have to get somebody to carry them because all the lenses are too heavy for you to even carry to the ducks. Nah, I'll give you something simple, something easy to use that suits your needs. Now, if you're a professional photographer, sure, we'll look at the bigger stuff, but we want it to at least meet your needs. All right. Y Video says, did you look at Lightspeed Commerce, the return of the founder as CEO, and the possibility of going private? I haven't looked at Lightspeed in a while. I know I did deep dive them a couple of years ago. Probably could use another deep dive, if provided you guys want one and you guys voted it through. But I haven't really looked that much at it. Why? Let's see here. Paul says, with TELUS, I have them pay for Netflix, Premium, and Prime, and Disney, plus all separately to get my 40% off retiree discount. Lots of restrictions on the retiree 40% off. You see, and there's the thing. There should be no restrictions. If somebody is a senior, they should just get a discount. It should just be a normal thing. If you're going to offer a discount, don't throw a bunch of restrictions on it. It's just one of those things. It just sort of bugs me when you kind of create all kinds of thing. Like I have this thing where I know, like, my mom is a senior, and I've seen so many things where people are just taking advantage, and seniors are not getting their, I don't know what I would call it. Sometimes I call it the fairness. like even when I was also kind of against the whole idea of just giving an increase to OAS to people above 75. So, the first 65 to 75, you get like a reduced rate. I'm like, well, that doesn't seem fair to me. Um, or if you really, really wanted to do that, you could have at least given like a partial a partial increase to the first 10 years and then maybe another, but still, it's just one of those things. I'm very much about fairness when it comes to how we treat our senior citizens. I think they should be treated with a lot of respect. All right. Enid says, my cell is with Rogers. No problem so far, but I pay $56 a month. That's really good. I will say right now, that is really, really good. I know when I was with Bell, my phone bill, and this was going down to as low as I could get, it was about $120 a month. It was just crazy, but that's because I needed the data. And that gets you. The data gets you. Let's see. Vic says I'm at 8,500 loss on Lightspeed. Uh-oh. And 3,800 on NFTs. Oh, yeah. I put nothing into NFTs. I wasn't sold on them. I mean, I understand them. I understand the use behind them, but I can't see something like a Bored Ape getting really expensive, even though they did. But now, I mean, now they're pretty much worthless as far as I know. G Mark says banks try to move their high MER mutual funds. Yeah, no good. Yeah, it's one of those things. A lot of banks will sometimes even not offer particular ETFs if they have an ETF that is similar to it. That's just so that whether you don't have that option. It's like, oh, if you want this ETF, you have to take the bank version of it. So yeah, that does happen. Or maybe even if it's a mutual fund as well, which is usually a lot more fees. Paul says Old Navy flex jeans means the regular size is just a little stretchy. Okay, there we go. Believe it or not, I don't think I've ever shopped at Old Navy. It's funny, but no, I don't think I have. All right. That little noise you heard means something got delivered, but it's going to have to wait till after the stream. Nine says, I would never take financial advice from bankers. No, no. You always have to ask. Like, if you're taking advice from somebody, always understand where they're coming from and understand any kind of biases that they have because like for example, I have a video that's going to drop here on Friday, and it's actually the channel members asked for a deep dive on Canoe, so we got a deep dive on Canoe coming out on Friday. And I will say this is a stock I've had for a long time. I'm biased. I have a biases towards it, so I always make that certain. Like, so when I'm giving a final verdict on a stock that I have a bias towards, you gotta sort of calculate that too. You got to say, okay, yeah, this sounds good, but it's coming from a biased Candace. So, as unbiased as I try to be, and I show just the data, uh, even subconsciously, there can be bias in how you interpret that data. So I always take that into consideration. Know who's giving you information, who's giving you advice, and know what their biases are, because that can certainly color what the information you're being given. Vic says, I actually own some Flex Old Navy jeans, standard attire for buffet. Oh, there you go. Jerry says, do you think DJT Trump stock is a good buy? No. There's so much volatility around the Trump name. So, everything from everything from this election to all of the criminal stuff going on. I just would be very cautious. I would be very cautious investing in a Trump business, because all it would really take is take some of these legal things if they were to go if they were to really go south, or let's say if somehow Donald Trump lost the election, anything can influence something with the Trump brand at this point. So to me, they're risky, definitely risky. Whether or not, and honestly, I don't care if you're like pro-Trump or anti-Trump. The name itself is just volatile, and you have to be prepared for that. Vic says, I'm holding with all that red on Lightspeed also. PayPal. Oh, there we go. And you liquidated BIGC. Thought it was next Shopify, but it turned out to be a dog. Sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes, because you have to look when you say, oh, this is the next Shopify. Well, what's going to differentiate them from Shopify when people already have a Shopify? So it's just that kind of interesting thing here. Jordan's in the house. Good afternoon, everyone. All, or good afternoon, all. Hope you're all well. Good to see you, Jordan. Always good to see Jordan. Paul says, I just looked at the jeans tag, 99% cotton and 1% elasticity something. Ooh, wonder what that is. Elastic, maybe? It's, anyway, I'm going to have my Starbucks again. That is very, very good. Okay. Vic says DJT has 3 million users versus 3 billion for Facebook. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot of users, that's for sure. Why videos? Jerry, I own some and I'm in the green, but it's almost like a meme stock. There we go. There we go. It may be. Paul says it was TELUS employees retirement 40% discount, not a senior discount. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, I went off on a tirade on the wrong thing. There we go. Vic says merchants hate Lightspeed. Pass the POS machines too aggressive on the fees. There we go. And that's a long time. Vic says, with pandemic, I lost my perspective and got into individual stocks. Well, that's the thing. You have the time to, start looking at individual stocks. And that's the thing. It's even if you are, let's just say, for example, even if you are an ETF investor, expanding your financial knowledge, it's still a good thing. And it will still help you choose, for one, the right ETFs. I really should make a video on how I would set up an ETF portfolio. I think that would be kind of good. And Bismarcky's looking forward to the canoe deep dive. Yeah, absolutely. It's all scripted. I'm going to film it in the morning with the old mic. Vic says, I'm reading Nudge, thinking fast and slow is next. And let's see. Bismarcky says, I'd rather own Bre-X stock than Trump stock. There we go. Vic says behavioral finance and understanding thereof is a must. Yeah, absolutely. Psychology is one of the best things you can ever learn, in my opinion, because understanding why people behave the way they do and knowing what's going on behind the scenes, it's hugely powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Let's see. Vic says Trump is now selling Bibles. Oh, dear. Vic says Trump has some cognitive symptoms too if you watch closely, but Biden just more obvious. Well, they're both getting up there. They're both definitely getting up there. Whoever wins, by the end of that 4 years, I imagine they're going to be in rough shape. Because it's an interesting thing. I've noticed this with the U.S. presidency. You get some young guy who comes in, becomes the president, and after those 4 years, he looks like he's aged more than 4 years. So that's a job that absolutely ages you for sure. All right, give me 1 second here. I want to do something. I'm going to drop another membership. You know what? Because I can. Let's just do it. All right, here we go. All right, it's processing. As that processes, let's get to why videos. So the problem with DJT is that Truth Social could have been a good competitor to Twitter, but the purchase of Twitter by Musk made it more free and less appealing for right-wing users to switch to truth. There we go. So, and yeah, bad timing there. Yeah, it's kind of one of those interesting things. All right. So, Change to Spare has won the membership. Congratulations. I haven't seen you here today, but I know you're always on the Sunday stream. So, fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of one of these interesting things. What I respect more than anything else is when you have either it be a news source or an information source that's central. I love the central stuff. But I will say, a lot of times when there is a very polarizing topic, I will read both sides. I'll read what the right's saying, I'll read what the left is saying, because usually especially in polarizing topics. The real truth is not on either side. It's usually somewhere in the middle. And by reading both sides, sometimes you can kind of figure out where the truth actually is, and that can help you make better informed decisions. All right. Amvas is in. Appreciate your challenge and compassion with covered call ETFs. Would covered calls be best for Canadian only banks, energy utilities, slow movers, rather than tech? Um, it really depends. I think if you're looking long-term goal, so tech tends to come in waves. So you'll find that when we have huge advances, like right now we have AI, which is propelling tech like crazy, then tech makes a really good argument for being being where your investing money might want to go. But the banks and energy in Canada, if you're looking at Canadian now, because keep in mind, the tech ETFs that we have here, most of it is investing in the US because we don't have that a huge amount of tech here. We have some, but we don't have a lot. I mean, if you really want a good ETF, you're going to be hitting the Nasdaq. You'll probably throw in some of the big Canadian ones as well, like Shopify or Constellation Software and things like that. So overall, I think if pump tech is not pumping, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with holding the banks, and there's nothing saying you can't hold all three. So that's just the thing to keep in mind too. Like, I would never advocate, like, even if you're just an ETF investor, I would never advocate just holding one ETF. You can certainly, some people will say, oh, well, I'll just hold XEQT or maybe VEQT. I'll just an all equity, everything's covered. I'm fine. But there's lots of different options out there. If you're looking for income, and that's the funny thing. When I eventually retire, so when I retire and I build a retirement portfolio in my TFSA, there'll probably be a lot more ETFs in it than standard stocks like now. So I'll probably convert it. Now, keep in mind, if I was going to say if the 0 to 100K challenge is still going, but I'm hoping it won't be by. No, it won't be by then. I'll hit the target well before then, but um, I will probably look at creating more of an income flow, because to me that will be really, really beneficial, is having some tax-free income coming out. Now, I have other variables too, at least in my personal situation, that I don't I don't know what the answers are. Like, I don't know how much money from AdSense and things like that from YouTube I'll have at that time. Like, if I keep doing this for the next 20 years, um, I'm probably gonna have like a half decent income as well, just coming off of YouTube. Like, just, because I'll have like a library of like 2,000 videos or something like that. So it could be very interesting. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. So let's move to the next question. Vic says, I think Munger would be proud of me to just sit on some cash and do nothing for a bit. I see opportunity outside of North America. Well, there is opportunity outside of North America. Once again, the channel members did choose the international one as a potential for the video, but Canoe, as soon as one of the channel members said, let's do a deep dive on Canoe, I kind of knew. Canoe, this is an interesting thing. Anytime you guys have had to vote, and Canoe has been one of the possibilities, Canoe is one hands down every single time. They've never not won a vote. They just bang, done, Canoe. It's like, uh-oh, there we go. But the beautiful thing is Canoe did have earnings that came out in December. So we actually did have more data, new data, which is fantastic for them. All right. Now, Vic says by 2050, China #1, USA 2, India 3, Indonesia 4, Japan 5. But Canada will be like 14. By then, Trudeau's son could be PM. Okay. Well, I almost should screenshot this and come back to you at 2050 and see if you're right, Vic. But I'm probably not. I probably would lose it by then. I'll be honest. But you never know. Although, you know what? If I was doing it, I might be inclined to put India a little bit higher, either one or two. So that's how I would sort of go at that. Why video says why the market went up at the end of the day. It's often the opposite. Um, I haven't actually looked at what the market did at the end of the day, other than I did see the Nasdaq. Well, let's do that. We never did look at the final numbers for the end of the day. Oh, we better get to the right screen. Here we go. Let's come over here. Final numbers, end of the day. TSX, look at this, up 0.89%. The S&P 500, 0.86%. So yeah, look at that. There was a spike there, both of them. NASDAQ up 0.39%. Gold was up. Silver was up. WTI was up. Bitcoin is still struggling. 1.65 down. Look at the heat map again very quickly. Nothing's really changed. Oh, Dollarama's back up. I do like this. One of the trends that I have seen lately is a lot of the food stocks. Things like Sir Royalty or Boston Pizza or even Pizza. Some of them are down. Some of them have been down. So I don't know if this is more or less just recession fears that are pulling these down. People are saying, "Oh, I don't want to, spend my money on like fast food or things like that or restaurants." It could be. It could be. Very, very good. Okay. And the US, very, look at this. Apple ended the day up 2.12%. Now, that I believe you can do after hours trading on Apple. So, yeah, that's not looking too shabby. And cryptocurrency, once again, big red mess. Absolutely. Now, I did want to look at one other thing. Let's take a look at our watch list here. All right. And I'm going to pull it up here and see. All right. So who are our big winners today? EQ Bank up 3.09%. DRX, MKL, TVK, there's CP, CNR, both up there. There's RioCan. We were mentioning them earlier when you're asking about the REITs. HPS, and there's BAM. BAM is up. So BAM has been doing fine. And if I pull BAM over to the main screen here, they went down a little bit. So this could very well be because of that story, but they seem to be bouncing right back. And who is our big loser of the day? Not a lot of losers, but Celsius here, CPH, JWEL. Hammond just kind of struggling a little bit, but they're going to be fine. Right now, this is a good opportunity for people who are just finding out about Hammond to get in there and have themselves a good little thing. And of course, here's the good old whiteboard as well. I'm actually want to see if I can find a whiteboard where I can drag and drop things and move them around really easy. So far, I haven't found one that's better than this one, but I'm in the market. I'm in the market for a good whiteboard. Okay. So the whiteboard is something I'm going to be doing I think I'm going to be doing it on the Sunday shows, just so you guys know. Basically, whenever I get questions about things I don't know the answer to, we'll throw it on the whiteboard, and then I can research the answer and find out for folks for the following Sunday. So that's one of those things that's going to be there. Like that's just pull this back here for a second. So the whole VFV versus VUN, that was from a question on Sunday. Somebody wanted to know which was better. So, I pulled a little bit of data and we looked at them on the show. So kind of cool. Right. Let's pull that away again. And Vic says, yeah, it's because the markets are irrational. Yeah, short-term irrational. So when you're looking at the market, so when you look at, for example, technical analysis, you're not actually analyzing the stocks. What you're analyzing is the psychology of the investors. And that's why it works, is because humans are pretty predictable. Remember when I mentioned that psychology was definitely a good thing to have? Well, that's why, because of that predictability. Vic says, the market generally has astute wisdom, but sometimes off. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the market gets spooked by, stupid things. Or sometimes by not stupid things as well. But sometimes, Jay Powell said something the wrong way, and the market's like, oh, what does that mean? It means that he's going to raise the rates again, and they go crazy. But of course, he's not going to. Right. Vic says, might never see another March 2020 unless Russia, North Korea, or someone else presses the button. Holy cow. Yeah, well, I mean, if that were to happen, Oh dear. It depends. I mean, let's not even go there, Vic. Nobody is going to nuke anybody else. Hopefully, hopefully. Vic says, I gauge any news event with market response, which signals impact. The world seems to be in rough shape with conflict, layoffs, inflation, etc. But indexes at all-time highs. Yeah, it's kind of. Here's the thing. You got to look at it this way too. When you think about psychology, back when Russia went into Ukraine, we were all like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be the end." Everybody was like, crazy, crazy. And the same idea with the whole, the whole Israel Palestine thing. And it's just that thing. Like right now, there's been so much going on that people are starting to get used to it. We're getting used to the chaos that we're currently in. And because we're getting used to it, it's not impacting the market the way you expect it to. And that's one of the reasons that we are at all-time highs, because people are basically like, you know, I don't give a banana bread. That's the way they're kind of at. You could probably substitute banana bread for the F word, but I'm not going to do that. So it's just one of those things that we're at. Okay. Y Video says, do you think there would be room in Canada for another grocery chain? There are rumors about the creation of a new one, maybe involving Couche-Tard. I think another grocery chain in Canada would be the best thing for us as consumers, because when you start looking at the groceries, it's basically a monopoly. Like all of these other names that you see out there are owned by the bigger ones. Like your Metro, your Sobeys, your Loblaws. So or the Westons, they're all kind of like and it's part of the reason prices are so high. So if we had another one come in there, that's going to actually pull things down a little bit. Now, the funny thing, Vic, is No Frills is part of that whole Loblaws thing. Now, keep in mind, Loblaws on the West Coast, I think they're owned by West Fair Foods out of Winnipeg. So it's a little bit different, but it's still all of the same stuff. So even when you buy it low at places like No Frills, you're still sending the money back to them. And sometimes it feels like you're getting, I mean, you are getting some deals because there's a lot more of the President's Choice and things like that at your No Frills. So or the actual No Frills brand as well, which is I once watched a video on that and it was funny how. When they came up with No Frills and the whole yellow packaging, how people just sort of loved it right away. So we'll have to see. Vic says, grocery shopping at dollar store and Giant Tiger is not healthy. No, it's not. You look at some of the food offerings that they have, and you have to sort of wonder when they're able to offer it for so cheap. You have to kind of wonder what you're getting. So that. Yeah. I think the only thing I really honestly like the dollar store for myself is if I want to get some cheap decorations, like for Halloween or something every year. If I want to get those stupid things that you flap on the window type thing, they're perfect for things like that, or for anything. Or if you want to have like a garden party, I guess, or something. Yeah, use them. Why not? Let's see. KB Shelton says. We'll see another 2020. Can't remember who said it, but another pandemic is in the cards. Take that with a grain of salt. No, it is. Absolutely. We will see. And here's the thing. As the population increases and as you look at a lot of the Asian culture where you have so many people interacting with animals, we're prime for another pandemic. It's not going to be like tomorrow. It could be, but it probably won't. But if you think that you're thinking, okay, well, let's say the Spanish flu was back in the, the early 1900s, so we're probably good for a good 100 years. No, we won't. We'll probably, realistically, I think we'll see another pandemic within 20 to 30 years tops. So then the potential is there that it could be sooner. Like there will be other breakouts of other things that don't, manage to get into full pandemic status. Because think of things like SARS. SARS never got went full pandemic, but it was pretty serious. I think Toronto, Toronto had a lot of issues, and a lot of artists weren't even willing to play at Toronto because of SARS. Interestingly enough, it was the Rolling Stones who basically said, "Yeah, we'll play there," and that kind of sort of broke things open a little bit and made it better for Toronto at that time, back in the SARS day. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. Sometimes there are good loss leaders at Giant Tiger. Yeah, now Giant Tiger, like it's kind of for me, Giant Tiger is a step up from the dollar store. So yeah, you can sometimes find some pretty good stuff in there, and the food's a lot better in the Giant Tiger than at the grocery stores. Bismarcky says Loblaws will not price match if they own the other store. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Why would they? They're like, okay, we're getting the money either here or there. You just decide where you're giving it. Jordan says, how do you think the 40 plus ships stuck in Baltimore and now the need for port redistribution will affect the markets? Well, once again, there will be some impact. Now, this is not major supply chain. It's more of a minor supply chain, but it will impact things a little bit. Whether or not it's going to actually impact the markets per se, no, but it could certainly be a situation where, especially in a local, like in the American, at least the American East, there could be some issues in there. But I would have to know, and this is what I don't know. I don't fully know the extent of how much that river is being used within the supply chains, and I think there are ways around it. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be that big of an impact, at least on the markets, but it'll certainly impact the area to a certain extent. Measles is the new pandemic. Well, I've been hearing a lot about measles lately. Jordan says the Eastern Seaboard ports are going to be overloaded if they weren't already. Yeah, absolutely. And not just the Eastern Seaboard ports. When you look at a lot of the American rail systems, a lot of them have more cargo than they can already carry. So this is going to add to that as well. So yeah, there's definitely going to be an impact on the supply chain, but the markets maybe not so much. Although if that impact on the supply chain were to actually impact inflation a bit more, but then again, here's the thing: inflation that is transitory. Hi, my watch had an opinion. So when you have a supply chain inflation, so inflation caused because items can't get there, that is transitory inflation. That goes up, comes right back down. Sort of like if you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, there was an insane inflation on wood. That's because everybody who was locked at home was like, "Oh, let's rebuild the deck, or let's go and do this, or let's do that." And yeah, great, fine, but it caused lumber to go out, and lumber prices went way, way up. And of course, they've come back down because we're not all building our decks anymore. So that was transitory inflation. So you did see some transitory inflation through all of this whole mess. But when some of the people like Jay Powell or Tiff Macklin said, "Oh yeah, this is all transitory," they were wrong. Some was transitory, but most of it was not. Most of it was because we printed so much money. That's going to cause a lot of inflation. Let's see, why videos? Jordan was going to ask, it will probably affect the sugar market in a few months because of Domino's refinery. I saw sucro going up 20% today. Oh, there we go. So there we go. There could be some, especially smaller things. It's not going to be a market-wide thing, but there could be some small impacts. Vic says, so boat lost power and coasted into the bridge, causing $4 billion in damage. Well, it also killed, I think, 6 people, Vic. So, yeah, but yeah, it was kind of it can happen. These are the type of things that can happen. This is what you call a black swan event, and it actually was floating on water, so kind of swan-like. So we'll give it that. So SUG.V, if you are wanting to look at that sugar. Let's see. It will also have an impact with cruise boats. Okay. Yeah, I can understand that, especially if they pass through that waterway. I mean, anybody who passes through that waterway is going to have to, go a different way. But keep in mind, I don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be closed. I mean, they can pull. They should be able to use some tugboats and that to pull away some of that wreckage. Um, it's not like it's a terrorism event or anything like this where they basically can have they should have an opportunity to just pull stuff out of the way, clear up, and get that thing functional as soon as possible. Let's see. Remembering the sideway boat in the Suez. Oh God, yes, yeah. That was not good. Not good at all. Vic ran into Safeway to get a few things, but ran out of money. Yeah, they get you at the grocery store. They always get you at the grocery store. Well, the whole grocery store is designed to make you spend more money than you intend to. That's one of the nice things. Like, I almost never buy groceries at the grocery store anymore. It's all delivered. It's just, here you go. This is what we want. Um, it probably does cost a little more to do it that way, but I say it doesn't because you're not going by all of these carefully assembled aisles where they're trying to sell you all kinds of junk food or gunk. I mean, I don't eat junk food anymore. Like, I haven't had junk food since like August, but yeah, it's just one of those things. You have to kind of, if you have a plan at the grocery store, then you're in better shape. Go in, go out. Always stick to the outside edge where all of the fresh stuff is. Like, you get your produce. Usually you got your meat, your milk. Just stick to that area. If you need something that's down one aisle, don't just go up and down the aisles. That's a horrible way to shop. But if you need something that's down one aisle, just go down that aisle, grab it, get back out. Stay on that outer, stay on that outer outskirts. And here's the beautiful thing, whether or not you like it, if you use the self checkout, a lot of times, especially if it's not busy, you can get through there faster without being tempted by all of the confectionery and magazines and stuff they put up front. So yeah, fun stuff. Vic says gas $1.51 in Alberta. Oh wow. Market's open Monday. Yes, the market is open on Monday. So yeah, closed on Friday, open on Monday because we got Easter coming this weekend. Hopefully you guys have some pretty good Easter plans. I will have a live stream on Easter Sunday. So I don't expect, well, every time I say I don't expect a lot of people to show up because it's a holiday, I get a lot of people showing up. Like, it still baffles my mind. Like, I've done the Christmas Day stream now for 3 years in a row, and I get a good turnout. I get a half decent turnout every Christmas. So, we'll have to see. I mean, we'll put the Starbucks watch on for next week to see whether or not the Starbucks bot decides to pay us another visit. If they do, I'll be drinking a lot just to, it's like, hey, Starbucks, love you, super sticker time. Come on. That is good. All right, everybody. It's been a fantastic open. I think, we've all done pretty well here today. Let's see what the market shows tomorrow. Keep your eyes on, and actually, before you go, let's take a gander over here. Take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now, that's not Bitcoin. That's BAM. I was like, what's going on here? Boop-a-doo. I have to get back to the normal one here. There we go. There we go. So yeah, Bitcoin still struggling around 68. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. As I did mention, there is a lot of options expiring tomorrow. So we could have a red day. There is that potential. So if you're looking to get into Bitcoin, you may want to wait till tomorrow and see how low it goes. I will be paying attention because as I swing, I will probably sell out my position up here and see if we do come down so I can get back in nice and low. So we'll have to see. Have 2 cups of Starbucks ready on Sunday. I should. Yeah, that was crazy. It was like the first time it happened, it freaked me out. I'm like, oh my God. Did somebody actually, because I first thought it was one of you guys. I'm like, one of you guys made a Starbucks profile, dropped a $4 super sticker because I took a sip of Starbucks. Only because, it's that running theme. It's like, Starbucks, come sponsor me. Then I did it again, just kind of for fun, and another one dropped. I'm like, what? Did it a third time because I'm still not sure what's going on. And yeah, another one dropped. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to drink regularly through this stream. I actually finished my coffee before the stream was done because I was like, wow. Like if when the bot should have shown up is on the day, like when I hit 4,000 subs, I'm doing that open to close stream. That's the day that bot should have shown up because then I could have finished the stream, uh, looked at my bank account and said, ooh, yeah, but that would be, that'll be fun. We'll have to sort of see how that goes. To me, that was just funny. Oh, I did have, by the way, another company has reached out to do a not a collaboration, but to look at some kind of a sponsorship. I think I'm going to turn them down, though. It's Seeking Alpha. I just don't know if I like their content, but I find that they can be a little bit, what's the word? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You know what I might do? Maybe I'll put a poll up and just see what you guys think about Seeking Alpha. Or right now, those of you who are in here, what is your opinion on Seeking Alpha? Should I look at them or not? Because I'm kind of leaning towards the not on the Seeking Alpha, but I'm just kind of curious what you guys think about Seeking Alpha. About Seeking Alpha. Yeah, I will. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Vic will be here on Sunday. And Vic will probably be wearing his Easter Bunny costume. I bet you. We won't be able to see him, but in the back of my mind, Vic is hopping around on Sunday with an Easter Bunny costume, just because it's funny. Maybe have a 24-hour stream as long as the bot keeps paying. Oh my God, yeah, it's like have a 24-hour live stream. Basically drink coffee the entire time. At the end of it, I will be wired. My eyes will be bigger than my glasses. And but I'll be going on vacation after that. There we go. Yeah. Well, Seeking Alpha, the thing is they try to sell their service. I just find that they're really a little, I don't want to say pushy, but I find that I don't like the approach per se. So, but here's the thing, and Joe just said it. They do post some helpful news stories. Some of their stories are good. It's not that I don't like them. I just right now I'm at that point where I'm thinking, okay, do I want to do this or not? Because I have made one of the commitments I made to you guys is that I'm not just going to grab any kind of sponsorship that that I'm not 100% behind. Because, I have integrity and I want to, when I do, start to promote something, I want you guys to sort of know, but I want you guys to know that it's good content. So, yeah, I mean, so far everybody sort of says that, that they're not too bad to analyze a company. So what I'll do here is I won't make up my mind, but I'll take a look at their content again. I haven't looked at their stuff in a while, so I'll take a look. And then we'll bring this up on Sunday. On Sunday, we'll figure out whether or not it's a good idea for the channel to be involved with Seeking Alpha. Because like I said, if you guys are all dead against it, I'm dead against it. I trust the community when it comes to something like this, and where I'm on the edge. I'm pretty much going to follow what you guys, I think, where you guys want to go on this. So, yeah, we'll do that on Sunday, and yeah, look at their free content. I could reach out and see if they'll give me access to their other content just to see what is there. That would be very interesting to see. All right, so I think that helps. All right, everybody. Oh, look at this, 1 hour, 14 minutes. These ones normally only go about 50 minutes or so, but hey, I don't mind. If the conversation is here, I keep going. That's just the way I roll. But anyway, you guys have been fantastic. This has been a great stream. So we'll be back again next week to do this one all over again. And of course, we got this week on Sunday. I think it's going to be fantastic. And look forward to that canoe deep dive because that's coming out on Friday. And I think the next video after that is the next update to the 0 to 100K challenge. I think. I have to double check, but I think it might be. Yeah, it is. All right. Anyway, take care, everybody. And once again, thank you, Y Videos, for that $3 super sticker earlier. That rocked. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you again really soon.